Hello, let me start with a quote. An American baseball player, Peter Barra, once said, "In theory, there's no difference between theory and practice, but in practice, there is." Well, there are two bad news about this quote and my presentation. The first one is that my topic is humor, and you didn't laugh, which is very bad. The second bad news is that I'm going to talk about theories of humor, which doesn't match the reality of humor. As we all know, humor can help you deal with problems and make your relationship much better. We all know that. But why is humor humorous? Hello, my name is Bong Go, and I'm going to introduce some interesting answers for this question. Let's move on to the theories. We laugh at inferior or ugly individuals because we feel a joy at feeling superior to them, said Aristotle in his book Poetics. Now we call this theory a superiority theory. Well, the superior guy, Aristotle, must have a lot of chances to laugh. So, in order to make Aristotle laugh, we need to be an idiot so that he can feel superior and laugh at us. Slapsticks, like Charlie Chaplin, is a possible option, but I don't want to recommend this for myself because the most dramatic physical activity that I can do is breathing. So difficult. Instead, you can try talking about your inferiority to others or even exaggerating it. Just like I did about my physical activity. However, as I said, there always is difference between theory and practice. If the theory is perfect, feeling superior and humor must be exactly the same thing. However, in reality, it looks like this. They share some of them, but not all of them. So now let's look at this part, where a person feels superior but not viewed as humorous. Imagine a rich man. He is not well educated and thinks that he is superior to the poor people. But that does not mean that he always laughs when he sees the poor people, right? Now, this part where a person feels a certain situation humorous but not feels superior. If you watch a movie and a hero accidentally accomplishes a great job in a way you didn't even imagine, you may laugh, but that does not mean that you are superior to him. It must be rather closer to he is superior to you. Now, there was another theory was suggested by Berline, a British-Canadian psychologist, in his book Psychology and Humor. He said laughter is a homeostatic mechanism by which psychological tension is reduced. By saying homeostatic mechanism, let's say our body temperature is too high, then we sweat and the vaporizing water absorbs heat from us. And if our concentration of sugar in blood is too high, the insulin starts to work and it changes them into glycogen. In the same way, if the psychological tension is high, we laugh, and the laughter itself reduces the psychological tension. So in order to make Berline laugh so that he can feel better, we need to make his psychological tension higher. That does not mean punching him. That would be a physical tension. Like saying psychological tension, let's say asking a question to make him curious. There are many old jokes to ask a question, like how can you put an elephant into a refrigerator, or why did the chicken cross the road, or how many people do we need to change a light bulb? However, there has been a small question toward this theory. Let me ask the same question to him. Okay, Dr. Berline, I got your idea at what laughter can do. But could you answer to our ultimate question of what makes a laughter? All right, next theory. It's the incongruity theory suggested by Hodgson, an Irish psychologist. He said laughter is a response to the perception of incongruity. By saying incongruity, it means that things do not match each other. So if we want to make Hodgson laugh, we need to make him notice that things do not match or simply incongruent. An American physicist, Richard Feynman, did a great job in this example. When he was dying, he said, "Oh, I'd hate to die twice. It's so boring." Which was quite incongruous because the situation that he was actually dying and his explanation on that as just a boring thing did not match each other. And now I would like to suggest a neuroscientific evidence for this incongruity theory. And for those who do not want to look at our brain, please close your eyes. This is the evidence. The above three pictures is the picture of part of brain which is activated when we hear a laugh. And then this part is activated. The point here is that these three parts are identical to the parts activated when we recognize the incongruity. So when this part of brain is activated, we think, oh, things do not match, and find it funny. Then this part is responsible for our physical laugh. It seems like a great evidence. So now we look at three theories of humor. So if I ask, why do we laugh? The superiority theory will say, well, because we feel superior. The relief theory will say, well, to reduce the psychological tension. The incongruity theory will say, because we notice the incongruity. But even though I said incongruity theory is supported by the neuroscientific evidences, that does not simply mean that superiority theory and relief theory is completely wrong. Superiority theory gives a great explanation on why we enjoy making fun of others. And relief theory suggests that we need some laugh anyways. Now I would like to show you some of the worst examples that a person can do when trying a joke. First, do not try to explain why this is funny. If I try to explain, the listener will say, well, I got your idea of why it is funny, but wouldn't find it funny. And do not ask if it is not funny. If I tell a joke and you don't laugh, like the first part of this presentation, I have to blame myself, not you. So please do not blame the listeners. This is quite important. Do not try jokes everywhere, especially in front of a professor who does not like jokes. This is the worst thing that a person can do to make a listener feel inferior. Well, I think this is even worse than trying a joke in an inappropriate situation, explaining why it is funny, and then asking listeners if it is not funny. In short, it is even worse than telling nothing. The French journalist Nicolas Champeau once said, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." So if you're wise, please laugh once a day to make your day meaningful. However, if you are wiser, please try to make others laugh at least once a day to make their life also meaningful. Thank you. These are my records. And I would like to welcome any questions for next 5 minutes. Or short talk.
In the conclusion, I didn't get a point because when you see very close friends, then you can see them joking at each other and trying to make them feel inferior. And I find it extremely fun. So I didn't really understand it because I don't think think it applies to every situation.
Well, some supporters of superiority theory suggest that a person can feel a situation funny when they sympathize with a person who is talking that listener that might sound is inferior. So if I feel inferior, the speaker feels superior, I can also laugh because I know that he will feel superior to me. But it will be only the case when the speaker and listener is a friend or a very close friend.
Also, that's more like fun rather than funny. There's a distinction between fun and funny. So, do you think there are any differences in humor based on nationality? Like, I noticed that in Japan they really like wordplay. Like, so making a word that sounds like something into something that misrepresents the word. Like, in England, that's like stupid humor. Like mamushi means snake, and mabushi means bright. So they make a joke about confusing the two, like, mamushi, and they think that's great. Like, what about Korean humor? Is that different? Does it have any particular special characteristics?
Well, regarding the Japanese humor pun, that would be results by lack of words that can say seven. There are about 50 characters in Japanese word and Japanese language system, so there is higher possibility of two words having the same pronunciation. But it would be harder to get the same situation in case of American or Korean. And in Korea, I once read an article about Korean humor. It said that Koreans are more generous about jokes about others' fashion or their appearance, whereas Americans and British people are very reluctant to tell as a joke.
No? Okay.